5,
Okay.
4, 3, 2, 1. Aloha. This is Dikki Joe Mullen. Actually, I'm in Orlando, Florida, not Hawaii at this time. But aloha is like meow. It can mean anything. And right now, it means hello from Hawaii. Let's take a look at an astrological view of the science of relocational astrology. There are several different techniques for relocating a birth chart to the right place. As a consulting astrologer, many of the people who come to me want to move and want to go where the right place is, the best place on earth, what's right for my horoscope. Florida is terrible, New York is terrible, Chicago is terrible, whatever. I don't want to go anywhere cold, I don't want to go anywhere hot. So what do? Even realtors say location, location, location is everything. I don't know if I believe it's everything, but it is significant. A person's life can be totally changed for the good or not, depending on where we are. Of course, whenever we travel or move, we take ourselves with us. Wherever you go, there you are. But a very popular place that really beckons to people and almost has a magical Shangri-La heavenly quality is the state of Hawaii. Hawaii became a state on August the 21st of 1959, and I have an accurate birth time here, 10:10 a.m. Alaska Hawaiian Standard Time in Honolulu. So we can trust the accuracy of the houses here, as well as the astrological positions. The way I do relocation is different than that of many astrologers. I take the individual's birth chart. Everything that ever happens to you comes back to what's called the natal chart. That's drawn for your moment of birth. And I compare that to the horoscope of the government in power at the time, because of course Hawaii is ancient and there's evidence of Polynesian people having settled it way before August the 21st of 1959. And of course we know Captain James Cook discovered it for modern times. That's a horoscope. But for the way we relate to Hawaii now, the statehood horoscope is the one that's relevant. Let's take a look, and you can decide for yourself whether it's your own Shangri-La or whether it's just a place to visit and enjoy the music and the spirit of aloha for a little while. Many feel that it's a portal to other dimensions and that spirits called the mini huna are little entities that are elf-like that appear and disappear, evidence that they might be traveling through a portal. And then also there's a whole type of astrology with different signs of the zodiac that relate to just the phases of the moon that the ancient Hawaiians did. So there's quite a bit of magic and spirituality there. Let's begin by interpreting the regular horoscope of the statehood through the different ways that you read a birth chart with the conventional planets. My way of finding what's a compatible place with you. The sun represents the leadership, persons in power, and worldwide impact in the horoscope of a place. Here we have a Leo sun, and what is Hawaii all about? The sun, a lot of contests and conventions take place there. There's a young at heart kind of attitude, a lot of national pride and dignity. It sounds very Leo to me. The moon represents the general public, changes, subordinates, and the history of a place. The moon in this chart is in the sign of Aries. And the Aries moon is very militant and dynamic. And of course the native Hawaiians very much want to preserve their culture. And it is said by some visitors, I haven't been there so I don't know directly, but that they call those who aren't native Hawaiians haoles and discriminate against them as far as jobs and so forth go. I did have one friend who went to college there and did say that the University of Hawaii, she did feel some discrimination there. So here we have the moon in Aries showing this great national pride and pride in the history, very assertive influence. Mercury in a birth chart represents the mind and the intellect In the chart of a place, it represents advertising, publications, and educational value. In the horoscope of Hawaii, Mercury in Leo shows a lot of flamboyance and color. There's a lot of people that do different entertainment gigs from Hawaii. Very much the Leo is there. Venus is prolific profits, art, and social functions. Venus here is in Virgo and it's retrograde. Retrograde Venus is quite rare, and that indicates that there might be a lot of focus on discriminating who can go where, to which social functions, which type of artwork is appealing, but it also has a lot to do with health. And of course, healthy meals relate a lot, and to agriculture. Pineapples from Hawaii, different barbecues, or different aloha events. There's a name for the barbecues that they have that can relate to the Virgo. Also, healing influences. My statue here is one of the Hawaiian spirits, and it represents long life, longevity. And the idea of health and long life goes with the Hawaiian culture strongly. Mars would be the military, and of course World War II began with the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And we have Mars in Virgo here. Mars is also machinery, competition, adventure, turmoil, confrontations, and danger. Mars is very prominent. It's conjunct Pluto, the planet of the underworld, and Venus. So a lot of culture, and a museum that's supposed to be quite beautiful to commemorate Pearl Harbor can be seen in the Mars influence. Mars would be the police in a chart. Jupiter is wealth, expansion, growth, success, philosophical values. Jupiter is in Scorpio here, which is a sign that relates to wealth. The property values are very high, and there are some individuals who are very wealthy, who have retired to Hawaii or who own property there. So that Jupiter in Scorpio shows. Saturn is the planet of limitations, elderly or very poor people, street people, archives, conservative values. Saturn in this chart is at 0 Capricorn, on the cusp. It's unstable, and it's retrograde. So this would indicate this isn't a really good retirement destination, or for someone who has a lot of limitations, who's on a very tight budget. I would say be very careful about relocating there. Uranus is new technologies, innovations, but also accidents. And Uranus has a bearing on the weather. Uranus is in Leo, which is very prominent as the sign, and it's interesting because it rules seismic activity, and here is the volcano that's erupting here in late 2022, and the way it looks, and it's become a tourist attraction. It's attracting worldwide news, so it's a disaster in a way, but it's part of the culture, kind of like lemonade out of lemons. If life hands you a lemon, make lemonade, is what I was thinking of looking at that. We also have Neptune, which is mystery, hidden factors, ghosts, paranormal activities. There's a whole cosmology and type of astrology that uses the moon, and it involves actually looking at the moon that the ancient Hawaiians developed. A lot of it had to do with navigation, because they were navigating across the Pacific Islands from different islands, or to the island from different islands, like Bali and so forth, in different parts of Polynesia, on canoes and rafts, if you can imagine that. And they developed the skill of observing the motions of the stars, planets, and moons so accurately that they judged the hours of the night as accurately as you could the hours of the day with a sundial. And this is from an 1841 account. In times past, the Keolani, these are the astrologers of Hawaii, had an even more precise and vast knowledge of the heavenly bodies and their workings. In addition to astronomy, they used a lot of this to help the fishermen and the travelers, but they did predictions relating to the fixed stars in the heavens and the constellations that were incredibly accurate. Hoku is the night given to the night of the full moon, and Hoeku, differences in the pronunciation would be star. Poetically, Mahina Ohoku is a beautiful way to describe the moon on a night when the moon is full and setting before daylight. This translates as the moon that slips away, or the stranded moon. In some traditions, the month begins with the first glimpse of the new moon, the newborn crescent. That's the beginning of the new month as it rises in the east. And being rather empirical in approach, some practitioners call this the Celestial Hawaiian Almanac and adjust the night, the name of that first moon, to observe the different phases. So it's a flexible lunar calendar which represents changes. Some of the other interesting facts about Hawaii are the state flower. This is the hibiscus. It can either be a red one, which I've painted, or the yellow one. And it describes glory, beauty, a good life. All of that is in tune with the Libra ascendant in this birth chart. And the idea of there being distant portals and dimensions opening came to me as I was meditating on Hawaii, the cosmology of Hawaii, and observed this portal opening up. And so whether I had a real flash from way over here in Florida of Hawaii, portals defy time and space, or not, it's kind of a moot point, but you can sort of decide for yourselves. The beautiful flowers and agriculture again came to me in the painting that I did of the lily here. And so thinking about the beautiful Libra ascendant, Neptune in the first house in Scorpio in this chart really emphasizes the spirituality. And of course the dance, the hula, is very expressive. Stories are told with the movements of the hands and the songs. And so the whole culture of that very unusual state. Some people actually think they need a passport to visit Hawaii, which I think is really funny. But I guess it isn't. It is another world and so different that you might almost think not. But it is a state, and it's just, it's interesting. It was Barack Obama's home state. Our former president is a Leo, and the horoscope of Hawaii with the sun Leo shows his roots there. So it's kind of interesting that you can see how relocating to the right place can affect someone. Also, he became very prominent as a senator in Illinois, a Leo state. So again, look at your own birth sign. There is a whole book called U.S. States and Horoscopes, and another one called World Horoscopes for references that show the horoscopes of all the different places and towns and cities that with a very little bit of research you can do. If you only know your birth sign, which sun sign you are, a regular birth sign, just finding a place that's compatible with yours, just look up the time when a state entered statehood, when it became a state, or a country when the government in power took care. You can do that very easily without having a lot of expensive astrology references. And it's very helpful for knowing where to go on vacation, what to expect, or more importantly, where and how to move to your own special place on earth. And so we'll say aloha from the Hawaiian god of longevity, who is one of the zodiac signs in the Polynesian zodiac, because all of the different Hawaiian deities come through as different loa or spirits that we can all befriend and recognize. I think Pele might be with the planet Pluto, though. She's the one who won't let you take any volcanic rocks or pieces of Hawaii home with you unless you've bought them legally from a native Hawaiian. Anyway, that's the story. This is Dikki Jo again, wishing you happy travels and aloha.